Hey guys, so normally I try to take all of December off, but I still have one more day before out of town family gets here. I'm trying to get all my stuff moved around and set up so I can do better videos. If you're wondering what this washout is, it's because that camera's not as good as the one sitting next to it, but the cords are short, things got to move. But anyway, before I can get everything set up and so it all looks good, I have one problem. That's bright. Yeah, let's do something about that, huh? Okay, again, sorry about the potentially strange camera angles. I still got to move things around, but first, let's fix this light. So the first thing we're gonna do is take a piece of paper, take a pen or a marker, whatever, it doesn't matter. Hold it up to the light and put a couple marks just about wherever the edges are. It doesn't have to be perfect. We will sort that out in a second. Now, if you have something that's about the right size for your light here, like this almost fits. It's just a little bit too small. But inside this light, there's a lip there that'll hold whatever you try to shove in there, as long as it's the right size. And also, a quick note: this is not an incandescent bulb. This is an LED. It's put this away from you. It's not hot at all. It doesn't generate any heat. So don't do this with one that's going to get hot because you're going to have melted plastic in a very bad time. So now you can take your coffee can lid or whatever you're using, get it more or less centered on those marks you made, and make another circle. So now we know that this circle is a little smaller than the light, and the marks we made are probably a little bit bigger than the light, at least the inside where we want this thing to sit. So we'll go ahead and cut it out kind of rough, and then we'll cut somewhere in between, just to work, in between the line we drew and then the coffee can lid. So I got a pack of these cutting mats or chopping mats from the dollar store. There's 2 of them in here. They're not actually very resistant to cutting, but that's good for what we're doing. So these things have 2 sides. They have a textured side and they have a slick, shiny side. What we're going to want to do is we'll double layer this with the textured side on both the outside on the top and the outside on the bottom. And we're going to put a bit of waxed paper in between those 2 layers. So let's go ahead and get this on here and cut out. Just get you some tape. Or actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and cut this in half first. That'll make that easier. Let's cut it basically in half. It doesn't have to be perfect. Most steps of this process do not have to be perfect, because at the very end, you'll get it kind of cleaned up, sorted out. It'll be fine. Let's get that on there. Got some room. And we'll tape this down enough that when we start cutting around it and cutting through the tape, it won't fall apart right away. So I'm actually going to turn this on because the light looks pretty bad. This is very harsh, but maybe it'll help. I don't know. I might end up turning it off. We'll see. Anyway, that's why I'm putting this thing in this thing, because it just, yeah. So once you get your, I turn that crap off. Once you get your thing taped onto your chopping mat, you can go ahead and cut straight across here, because we're not going to need any of this up here that we don't have the paper on. And we can just get a nice straight cut now and save this for something. We'll use it for something. Anyway, go ahead and take your scissors and just cut around this thing, trying to keep a pretty even distance away from your coffee can line. You don't want to go too close to it because we're going to be trimming excess later, but you also don't want a whole ton of it hanging off because you want it to be pretty close to even. There you go, something like that. There's a little point there. You toss that in the trash. And then we can take this circle right off. It won't stick because we just cut through all the tape. Don't need that anymore. And we'll take this and put it on this. Tape it down the same way we did the paper one. Save that for something. And then we'll cut as close to the edge of this one as we possibly can. So now that we have our two circles cut out, make sure that you know which side is which. This is the clear side or the non-textured side. This is the textured side. So put a textured side down. Same thing on this one, so I know which is which. And we'll take a piece of wax paper. This is crinkly. Sorry, take a piece of parchment paper. Don't use wax, it won't stick. Go ahead and set it on your mat so you can cut off the excess. Otherwise, it'll keep trying to roll up on you. Especially if you're down to the last of the roll like I am. Go ahead and take yourself some crazy glue, super glue, whatever. Any kind of CA glue. I like crazy glue. It's cheap and it works really fast. And then just put a circle around the edge. It will start to like pool up in little dots, but it'll spread back out in a second. I think this bottle might be running out. Just spread that out. Put your paper on that. Spread it out nice and flat. Make sure there's no air bubbles. You'll probably end up gluing the plastic down to your mat a little bit. That'd be fine. Then, if you have any glue left in the bottle, I do not. 1 second. Of course, I'm going to glue myself to the bottle. Why wouldn't I, right? Anyway, let's go ahead and do that. Then, taking your other piece of plastic, making sure that the smooth side is what goes down. Get it as close to line up as possible. But, like I mentioned, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect because we're going to trim this a little bit. Press it down, and then you can weight it down if you want, or just keep pushing on the edges, trying to get all the air bubbles and everything. If you have a glue activator, now would be a good time to bust it out. Well, I am way off right there, and right here. I wonder if I can move that still. Nope, it'll be alright. You end up trimming quite a bit off to make it fit anyway, so that's fine. Alright, so I'm going to give this about 5 minutes to set up a little bit. Tape on it. It's heavy enough. Just so that I don't end up gluing my scissors closed, because once this is dry, we got to trim the edges. So I'll be back in just a bit. Alright, so is that super glue dry yet? Probably not. Whatever, it's fine. Wow, I was way off. That's fine. So now what we're going to do is, I think I might actually go ahead and trim this paper off. It's unnecessary, but I just don't want it crinkling while I'm trying to talk. Alright, so now what you do is you trim off the excess so that the edges match. That'll be alright. So now, if you can stop yourself from sticking to it, is you keep testing it. Bring that up. Keep testing it in the light until you can get the thing to fit. Just like so. There we go. Now we have a diffuser in our light. Still washes out that camera. That camera's not very good. But if I put it up here, I still get real bright light here without washing out the camera unless this gooseneck slips and it falls down. But anyway, it is definitely a lot better than it was. That's for sure. And I went ahead and I made a second one so that when I get another light, I'll already have the thing made. I totally did not make this first, for practice to make sure that it actually works. But anyway, yeah, I have the second one, so when I get a second one of these lights, then I'll have another diffuser to put in it, and I can have better light instead of this one spotlight on whatever I'm doing. So there you go, guys. That's how you make a quick little cheapy diffuser for your cheap desk lamps. You could also use a colored plastic or even a colored paper to make a colored light if you want to. Hopefully, if you needed to diffuse your light, stop it from blinding you, stop it from blinding your camera, this has been some help to you. Of course, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.